This is just Kimberly. Here, we honor the pivots of life as moments of learning and transformation. I'm Kimberly, and together we'll explore the practice of cultivating clarity, resilience, and grace with every step forward. This is your invitation to slow down, listen in, and find meaning in the unexpected. Welcome to the Just Kimberly Show. Today we pivot with grace. We're here sharing space with Johna. Johna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Bring us back, Johna, to the first season when we met.
Okay. It's so lovely to be here, by the way, and congratulations on your show.
Oh, thank you.
I thought about this quite a bit, and I was like, when did I really first meet Kim? Mm-hmm. And we were sitting just across a table like
Sure.
this, metaphorically.
Mm-hmm.
And we were obviously sitting across tables with different objectives, but at the same time, I thought back on that, and because it was during my daughter's IEP meetings, and I thought about how at the end I realized that we ended up really having the same goal, mm-hmm. which was advocating for my daughter, mm-hmm. who has special needs. She has autism and neurofibromatosis. And now we're sitting across the table. I think it's 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
And we're sitting across the table for different reasons, but I so appreciate that we reconnected.
Me too.
And I think that's what the universe likes to do, connect people who have good objectives and really driving towards the same thing. So I'm so excited to be here.
It's so wonderful to have you. And I couldn't agree more on that, quite honestly. Absolutely. You quickly became a parent that others looked to. Mm. You were a pillar of strength in our community. Mm. You were a pillar of strength within the school district that we were both part of at that time. And within your strong advocacy, you also became a very compassionate partner. Talk to me a little bit about that. Where did that strength and persistence come from?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, early on in our journey with this autism, with knowing what our daughter's life was going to look like and going to be uniquely hers, a lot of what was driving us, honestly, was fear. Parents with special needs early on in the diagnosis, one of the big emotions that comes through mm-hmm. is the fear of what will this life be for your child. The fear of missing out, the fear of not having the same things as their siblings, the fear of having things be very challenging in life. But once I really sat and let myself live that fear, let myself feel that fear, mm-hmm. I just made a conscious decision that could not consume me. I just could not let fear consume me. So it was, a choice, mm-hmm. a choice that you had to really dig deep and say, I'm going to choose a different path. And so when, persistence is a choice in my view.
Absolutely.
So when I decided to make that choice, I just really aligned with other families, other parents, other professionals mm-hmm. that allowed me to, not have the fear, to understand that while I'm looking on the outside, making this choice, I still had some of that in the inside. But really, the persistence comes from that choice that I made early mm-hmm. on.
Which we would say many different pivot points. And so on Just Kimberly, we talk about pivot points, and you've had many of them in your life and in your life with your beautiful daughter. These are moments when life really asks us to choose a direction, which each time and time and time again, you needed to do for mm-hmm. your daughter, for your family, for the betterment of what her next stage of best development could be. Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about, as a parent of child with disabilities, what are some of the biggest pivot points that you would say that you have faced?
Yeah. When I thought about this question, as a special needs and having mentored many special needs families, we talked a lot actually about what we more call like divots before we can make a choice to pivot. Divots are like we're thrown a lot of things that are unexpected. We have no idea what's coming. This is our first living through it. This is our first time living through it. And so we, are thrown things that we're not necessarily equipped to handle it immediately or have to really figure out how to manage this. So pivoting is, allowing us to make a different choice. And I think one of the biggest pivot points because we've been at, Brooke was diagnosed in 2003, so this is over 2 decades now. One of the biggest pivot points that I think that stick out to us as a family is the pivoting of acceptance. Acceptance that her life with a disability comes with everything that it comes with, and this life is uniquely hers. Mm-hmm. Now, acceptance doesn't necessarily mean you don't stop trying and you don't stop growing and you don't stop focusing on the continuum of growth, but it is a certain level of acceptance that you're no longer angry, you're no longer fearful, accepting that life can be fulfilling for her, and you just stay there. You stay in that lane. And so when we started accepting things like, ignoring certain timelines or developmental milestones that need to be met at certain points, and we sort of just said, we're not going to think about it that way anymore. We're going to think about it more of, where is she? Is she happy? What can we do that creates a hugely meaningful life for her? And just ignore the timelines. And so the acceptance of all that, it was so much, honestly, relief. And not so much from my husband and I, but really for Brooke. Mm-hmm. I realized she felt that energy. I think she felt that expectation was relieved a little bit. And she could do it in her own timelines and in her own path. So sort of that was the biggest pivot point for us, looking back.
Wow, that's beautiful. And Johna, you have a book in you.
Uh-huh.
You could use divots, but then something else with it.
Okay.
There's so many. We'll flip the table and flip the script one day. Where have you found grace in the unexpected?
Oh, that's a big question.
It is a big question. Moments where you could breathe and you could say, this is working, we are moving forward.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that comes with autism is the inability to communicate, or a challenge to communicate. Mm-hmm. Actually, I shouldn't say inability, because that isn't true for my daughter anymore. Early on, it was very, very difficult for her to find her voice in ways that she needed to express her simple stuff. But over the years, we discovered a communication method called spelling. And she is now a speller. And if for the parents who are maybe listening and don't know what that is, it really started with a method called the rapid prompt method. It's basically letterboard spelling, where an individual who has significant motor apraxia finds it very difficult to speak, or actually completely non-speaking, which is my daughter. But through spelling, which is just tapping on a letterboard, one letter at a time, it's not typing like this, but one letter at a time, because of the motor apraxia, she is now able to share with us all of her needs, wants, thoughts, feelings, desires. And most recently, she started dating. Ooh. Which, as a family, you can imagine, we never thought.
Right.
We actually didn't think that would be part of, that would be elusive for us, but here we are. So when we discovered that she could share who she is and who she wants to become, biggest grace point of our life.
Which brought us to the next point here, and that is so beautiful. But as she's moved into adulthood, that again is another pivot within that.
Yeah.
So the starting of dating, everything is shifting again. And so I think that is in parenthood. It's inherent in parenthood, but very special in the sense of our conversation today and the lens that you're coming through. And so for you as a mom, what do you appreciate about her currently as an adult, and then programming that you have created for her and surrounding her, and the resources that you have chosen to pull for her and into her life, into your family's life now at this stage of her adult programming?
Yeah. So, post the educational system, we, had to think really hard, where are we going to invest our time and energy? Because there are different options, although some parents do find it to be quite lacking. But for Brooke, right now she attends a day program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a faith-based day program, a very lovely, lovely program. It's an entrepreneurial-based program, meaning that all of the citizens that attend make and create things that allow their creativity and for teamwork and so on. But they create things that high-end
Mm-hmm.
products that they sell, and so to sustain the program. So Brooke does attend Big Great Lakes,
Mm-hmm.
which is again an adult day program, part-time, and then she's chosen to do the other part-time of her days in social connections with other spellers.
Wow.
It was really important for her
Wow.
to be with others that have the same communication system as her.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't always feel like she was completely different or behind in her ways that she needed to communicate. So she has chosen to, do social groups with other spellers. And so we do quite a bit of that actually in her time. And, she still does have require some other therapies. And then, of course, just private social connections,
Mm-hmm.
She's made friends in the community since she went back to high school in our district. And that's really where we're focused right now.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be more grateful for the program that she's in because it is such a loving environment. Again, it's faith-based, so they reside in the Gurney Community Church,
Mm-hmm.
and they do a lot of things that are involved in the community.
Mm-hmm. How have you seen yourself evolve through this process, and how has your support community evolved over this past, let's say, 5 years?
Yeah.
With her? What does that look like? What does that feel like? How do you move through that day to day, and who you allow into that circle, or who you choose to partner with on different ventures on behalf of Brooke?
Yeah, and I have to say that now that Brooke has a stronger voice and we are able to get from her what she wants her life to look like, I actually let her partner with that with me.
So beautiful.
I ask her the same questions that I would ask myself. And so because we really, she still needs me as her primary support person. And, she's not driving, so I have to drive her around, and we have to together make choices of how we're going to spend our day and time. So together we make decisions about what that looks like. And obviously now at this present stage, which I think is because I thought about there's so many chapters in our lives.
Yes.
There's so many phases. I like to call them chapters, but this is probably right now. I didn't know that 2 years ago when she exited the educational system, but now it is actually our greatest, most fulfilling chapter. Again, because of where she's at, which she's worked very, very hard to be. We connect a lot with other speller families. We are now looking into the future of what that looks like for other spellers. What does residential look like for other spellers? Can we have a community-based or employment-based for other non-speaking individuals? So that's sort of where we are right now. And again, I just sort of let Brooke also participate in those decisions. Yeah.
You know what? I've always been so impressed, and this is coming so loud now, even in our time at this table, is how present you are in the current moment and the current space for your daughter. Not that you aren't a visionary, because you are. You're always looking as to what that step is, but you're always all in for what the current stage, season, chapter is. And that is so beautiful about you, Johna. It is just something that I've always been so impressed, and I have seen you connect in other phases on behalf of your daughter.
But believe me, for the first 5 years of diagnosis, that fear was hardcore.
And I love that. And that's another piece. Johna is as real as it gets, which is part of the reason why she is being asked to come into this community to share her voice, to share Brooke's voice on behalf of helping others. And that is very neat, because I feel like you've always been at that stage, no matter what you were doing with Brooke, but to be able to champion for other families and for other children, young adults, other parents trying to navigate the way
Yeah.
to be able to do that, even if it could be challenging. I always would say when I would have teacher teams that if they could work very closely with Johna, they would both be learning from each other, but that we would have arrived to like whatever that next stage of development we needed to be at as a community, which was wonderful.
For 12 years, I from like 2008 to 2020, I volunteered for a non-for-profit, and part of that volunteer was mentoring other families. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, hearing all of their stories just fueled me to that, what you sort of described as just being present and giving them tools to keep looking forward, because some of the hard days is something you just cannot let consume you. I mean, it does, don't get me wrong. I am not saying by any means none of this was ever hard. It absolutely.
Absolutely.
But so other families fueled me to continue to be present and look forward, as you mentioned. So
I share that fire in my belly in a different way. I did with educational teams. I did with, mental fitness. And then now in this stage of my life, or this chapter of my life, in looking at how to continue to give in that way. For you, Johna, how do you carry forward now in being able to continue to help other families with young adults with special needs? How are you doing that in present day?
I'm probably not doing it as much as I'd like to, because I am the primary person for Brooke.
Okay.
I still do it a little bit, though. It's just sort of in my blood. It's just sort of who I am. It's where my energy comes from. I still get lots of, messages, requests, emails. I am very public in social media in the sense that, and we all know social media, everybody highlights all the positives, but I don't think that's such a bad thing, as long as you're honest that it's not the only thing.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So a lot of people see all of the good things, because I want people to have that hope that there is that chance to have those positive outcomes for their family and child. So I post a lot of positive things, and so then I do get lots of messages about, how'd you do that? Where is that?
Yeah.
Where do I go for that? So I still have that, and I will continue. That will always be sort of who I am, because I was mentored quite a bit also early on, and still am by all means. I still have my core group of moms who were ahead of me, and still run to them when I need them. So it's just a community. I don't know. We have to pull from each other. So
fair enough. You've described some beautiful spaces and places that Brooke is part of currently now in her adulthood. Are there things that you would enhance if you were given the opportunity, or you were given the magic wand for her and for others in creating spaces where adults with disabilities can learn, they can work, they can thrive?
Yeah, this one's going to be more honest and transparent, in the sense that this is the hard one, in the sense that one of the things that I've heard from many other families, and it applies to us as well, is that adult day programs don't necessarily have the ability to fund and create more one-to-one type support.
Yes.
Many of them, I think, I'm not that much of an expert yet in this space, but
I love the yet. The yet. And she's also the person that is not yes yet, but how do we get to yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Turn that T to a S.
Yes.
That one-to-one support, or two-to-one support even, or a lower ratio of staff to individual, that is lacking. And so I think we need to figure out ways in how we create, not necessarily more funding to do that, but more of what does the environment need to look like in order for that individual to be able to thrive more with less support. So
okay.
I think, honestly, that's an area that I would say I wish was here now and isn't.
Can we take a next step into that? If the one-to-one support was available, what would that look like? And I speak to just over 30 years of experience where I've been in spaces and places where I've seen one-to-one type support at different ages be wonderful. And then other times that it is just a person or a body, but not highly skilled, where then it isn't helpful for that young adult, for that individual. So when we speak to 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 support, what skill set or what would that look like, sound like, feel like for that 1-to-1 support? And I think that is a deeper question, because I think even if you can find funding or you can find sustainability in that and you can say, okay, I'm going to assign that, it's about how is that implemented with fidelity? How is their inter-rater reliability in being able to truly read, know, and embrace that independent client or citizen, if we speak to, because they're young adults. What would that look like? And I don't know. I think we both could be millionaires if we had that figured out and we could lick that, right? But maybe if we just stayed in that space for a moment to dream, what would that be? I think I have some ideas about it. Somebody that could really help extend what communication looks like for that individual client, that they can shatter whatever others might put upon them as a glass ceiling, to be all-encompassing in being able to be versatile and flexible in introducing options and opportunities, and not saying I just provided it so that they should assimilate to it, but to allow that voice to be heard, whatever that communication is for that adult. Those are things that immediately come to mind when I think and I dream about what that would be, to create those spaces, places, and community that it's a true ecosystem that is serving.
I mean, it's a perfect description, and you're right. It's a big question that I don't know that I would have a great or magic answer. However, what I would convey is that one of the things I think that lacks, and I'm sure it's just training or maybe a thought process or a mindset, is what we many of families now often talk about, is presuming competence. Yes. Just because
it's a chapter in your book.
Just because they cannot convey it the typical way someone with a disability would, does not mean they don't have the ability to do it. So presuming competence is a very, very, I think, big topic for people with disabilities. Give them a chance to show you, create the environment that allows them to show you, and being able to step back. That's why I don't think it's necessarily 1-to-1. I think as long as you can have 2 or 3-to-1, and then they have the assistance when they need it. So I think presuming competence is a really big mindset.
I love it. I speak to it similarly. I always say alternative abilities, not disabilities. We all have abilities. So what are those alternative abilities? How do we tap into them?
Yes.
How do we strengthen them? How do we amplify them?
Yes.
And make it rich in however they're showing up daily.
Yeah. It's like able, not the label.
Yes. Somebody was onto that before, right? But truthfully. Yeah. I love that. So I'd like to anchor some of this as we're closing into the last portion of our time together. What chapter of your life feels most alive right now to you? Yeah. I think I might know some of the answer because I think we've already alluded to it.
Yeah. I mean, the chapter being really right now, the fact that I can say here on a podcast
we're hanging out,
that my daughter is dating, like, I mean, you asked me that 10, 15 years ago.
And I think of her as like little Brookie, right?
Yeah, little Brookie. And she's still little because she's a shorty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a great chapter, she's connecting with people. She has some social connections. She is not afraid to try new things anymore. That was such a hardship for us. She's exploring more, very loving, very sassy. So, discovering all of these things, just really a great chapter, and I can breathe a little easier. And, there's still hard things coming up, like planning for a future when I'm not here, sort of stuff.
Yeah, succession planning, and that has to be like, all parents have that. It's very different for a parent with an adult with special needs. It's certainly, there's a complexity to that. Yeah. So, and you're navigating that now. I think you are working through that and trying to figure those pieces out, but that's different than the whole piece of, guardianship before, what does that look like? And do you go that route or not?
Yeah.
And then here we are, fast forward, but then talking about perhaps residential.
Yes.
And being part of our whole community. And then what does life continue to look like? That's beautiful.
But I also want to add on a personal note.
Please
in
do.
terms of, an exciting chapter is the divorce rate in families with special needs is pretty high. I don't really know what the latest statistic is, but it's pretty high. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, because I just need to mention it, that you need to also make your relationship with your partner, spouse, a very important piece throughout this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Because as a mom, even, typically moms are more on the forefront because the dads typically are the ones who work, and moms are, maternal instincts have the ability to do the day-to-day type of things. But they are going through, husbands, dads, partners are going through the very same emotions.
100%.
And I just want to convey that I think that those chapters in your marriage are super important to also nurture and to make a priority. So
absolutely.
I'm very,
Vince,
very,
I think you just got a shout out.
very, very fortunate that my husband has stuck through all of this together very tightly. I mean, at every doctor's meeting, at every IEP, so on.
Yeah.
Whether he was on the phone or
I've spent hours with him. Yes, over the years.
You got emails.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to convey that about an important chapters or important chapters in life, because being able to do this for your children, you will have to stay strong and connected. So I just wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Shout out.
I think that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you being vulnerable and you taking the time to prepare and to be in this space and place, because I believe your story is so important. Your message is so important, and you can continue to help many, many families for years to come.
As long as somebody wants me to, I will.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, they do. So if you want to check your notes, and before that, then we'll kind of get into like our closing and our final question. If there's anything we have missed or that you want to make sure that we're sharing out to the world, out to our viewers.
I think one of the things that I didn't get a chance to add earlier was about like what would a great program look like. I think there's 3 core things for adults with disabilities in a program, and one is to have lots of options. There's 3. One is to have lots of options across the spectrum, because, there's the saying, once you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, meaning that they have such a broad spectrum of needs. I think the second one is foster a culture that affirms them.
Yes.
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 And then third, I think is one of my favorites, and I don't know necessarily that it's easy to do, but to redefine inclusion. Meaning,
another chapter.
Yeah. Well, meaning like, through the school years, parents often, I want my child included in regular education and with all the regular education kids, and I want them to eat in the lunchroom with everyone. All of those inclusive things that lets them participate in all of the world around them. I think when you get to a certain age, the other piece too now is to now have the community come to us. So if you're going to have a great space, which I know you're working on, but if you're going to have a great space, let the world see that, invite them to our space and let them see the citizens where they feel most comfortable and, where they're affirmed. So I just wanted to add those 3 things that I think would be 3 valuable things to sort of set as a foundation.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's a strong foundation.
Yeah.
So as we close out our time, for parents just beginning their own journey of advocacy, they're out there, they're listening, they're watching. What words of encouragement would you offer them, Johna?
Don't ever be afraid to speak your voice, even if it's shaking like heck. Just say it, and because persistence is what's going to fuel you. You will stumble, but persistence will keep you going.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was so fun.
Thank you. Another episode of Just Kimberly. We'll see you next time.